Hello and welcome, everybody. Very excited to have Kathy with us today from In the Woods Marketing, giving us all kinds of great ideas and smart, really points of awareness in terms of marketing for our businesses. And I know those of you here, hey, we're all about coaching. And one of the biggest challenges we all face as coaches is how to effectively market ourselves. So this is a fabulous opportunity for each and every one of us. Now, when you registered, many of you did submit questions ahead of time. And I want to let you know we do have those questions. Kathy has built in a lot of that information into the presentation. And of course, we'll be addressing some of those questions as we go. I want to invite you to keep asking questions, and you can do that one of two ways. A couple of you are very brave souls, and when you have a question, you can actually raise your hand and we can unmute you individually so that you can ask your question live. And also, if you want to just type it into the question panel, you're going to have that question panel. We'll be monitoring that as we go through the presentation and getting those questions answered. Very, very important that you do get the information you want. So take advantage of that and get your questions answered. I did have a couple of you ask me already. The recording of today's presentation will be on our YouTube channel later. I'll send you a link after the call. All right, so to tell you about Kathy, she started as a freelance designer and web developer. She's got a long-term background in both management and marketing and has been working with clients and startups for over 17 years now as a brand partner for small businesses, helping owners design a custom business model that works on a personal and a financial level. I'm really excited. Kathy was introduced to me by a mutual colleague that I have a lot of respect for. And so we have just gotten started working together, and I'm really excited about where it's going and really happy to have her here presenting for all of you. So Kathy, welcome, and please take it over.
Oh, thank you so much, Kathy. It is so great to be here. I am excited to have a group of entrepreneurs and business owners to chat with today. It's a topic of endless discussion for me and my clients. I think that what we can talk about today is going to get you very charged up at how much you can do for so little. You know, it's so many times there are things that we cannot do for ourselves in our business because the professional expertise that's needed is beyond our daily grasp, but marketing your business is definitely not one of those items. So what I'd love to do is just jump right in because I know this time is going to go by really quick, and I'd love to get as much feedback from you as possible because this course I'm hoping is a mini extension of what I do with clients, which means that I love interaction, I love feedback, and I love a good question. So let's get started. The first thing that we're going to go over is I'm just going to give you a brief interview, although Kathy, you did a fabulous introduction for me. We're going to talk about the pre-launch list that you can have for your business. For those of you who are not there yet, just a quick little list to keep things top of mind. And don't forget, remind me if I do, that there are two downloads at the end of the course that they're available now that you can do, but before you check out, please do download them because it gives you the pre-launch list and it gives you some things to keep in mind when you're moving forward. The next thing we'll do after we get through that pre-launch list is we're going to dig in to the 10 items. And it's kind of shocking, but really there are only 10 things you need to do to have a successful marketing campaign for your business. It seems so complex when you look online and see the thousands and thousands of blog posts and websites that are out there talking about the topics, but really 10 things will do it for you. So we're going to talk about those, and then we'll end with a few next step items that you can add to the list of all the things you can do, and then we'll finish up with some Q&As if you have not been able to ask all your questions. So the first item on the list, whoops, a little quick there, is just me. Kathy gave you the overview. I really am a very strong advocate for the fact that one person can drive a business or a brand of any size. And I believe in empowering everyone to do their own marketing. So you're not going to hear from me today that you can't do it yourself, because you can. The question is, do you have the time to do it? So that's my approach. That's the studio's approach. And let's move on to something more interesting. So how does marketing help? Does it have any effect when there are millions of billions of pages out there now? Yes, it does. The big thing is not everyone does take advantage of the fact that they can market their business. And I'm sure if you look around at your friends, you look at community businesses, and you can see there are some who really get it, and there are some who just always seem to be too busy to do anything about it. And so the first big step that you take with your marketing is saying to yourself, okay, I know I'm going to spend at least a few minutes every day, and I'm going to do something that really matters, that can move my business forward and can help me help my customers. Because when you help your customers, you're not going to need to worry about your marketing. Now, the two things that I've noticed most over the years are, number one, I have clients who come to me, every so many months, or, a year and a half, and they want to spend a ton of money with me, and then they go off and I don't see them for a while. And those are the clients who really need, how would you say, more, more of a day-to-day approach with it. But you'll see that a lot of businesses take that one-hit wonder approach. They spend 500, 1,000, 2,000, some will go up to 10,000, and spend really good value on getting SEO campaign, or they're going to do mobile view of their website, or they're going to do something, but then they don't do anything for several months. That's not the approach I hope any of you are taking. The other one is trying a little bit of everything. And when you take that approach to marketing, you can't drill down to something that's really going to be a meaningful connection with a customer. So that's why taking a proactive approach with your marketing is going to help you. Now, what do you complete before you begin your launch? Well, the first thing is, and I'm sure if you're anything like me, if you're anything like anyone else, it seems like we have these great ideas for our coaching business or our consulting business, and then we look for clients to fit them. When actually, if you looked for your client first and then fit your talent and your business to them, you're going to notice that you're going to get a much quicker result for anything that you do, however simple it is. So you identify your ideal client. You identify a need that they have. And this is where your niche develops, because when you can see someone who really needs some help, and you can see this on a bus, you can see this in your work environment, you can see this in family, friends, and your extended networks. You see someone who could benefit from your coaching, from your expertise, and that's how your niche starts. That's how your platform starts for helping people. And once you help someone really well, it's the best marketing in the world. And that's why when we get further into the course here, we're going to talk about how SEO is evolving into a much more organic approach than it was in years past. So then the next thing comes, which is creating the name for your business. And again, it's amazing how many of us pick our name first because it just pops into our head, or it's something that really resonates for us. But actually, creating a business name is one of the most important and simple ways that you can attract the right person to your coaching practice. So you want to think about that before you actually launch, and of course you want to identify your ideal customer before you think of the name. Now, as a designer, I would also recommend that you keep your name short and sweet. Why? Because it displays really well on mobile, and number two, it's easy to remember for your prospects and your customers. The next and final thing that is really important to do before you launch your business is create a plan. And this is not the plan that you go to the SBA for, and I'm not saying that's not a great thing because they've got some fabulous people working for them. But you want to do something that's so approachable for you that each morning when you wake up, look at what's on your plate for the day, your marketing plan is right there, and it's easy and it's comfortable and it's something you can do something on that day. Okay, here are 10 items. The key for this is to pick one, complete the actions that are necessary to implement it, and then move on to the next one. It doesn't mean you're going to complete one completely before you step up to the next plate, but it does mean do everything you can with one at the level you're at, get it done, hand it off, and then move on to the next item. And by keeping a tight focus on each of these 10 items, you're going to find you're going to move forward a lot more quickly than you might think. Okay, the first thing is your platform. Now, I'm a website developer. I would love to tell you that you have to have a website, but I actually have some clients who don't have one. They're on Etsy. I have some who market their business completely from email. So you don't have to have a website, but you do need a home for your customers to go to. So one of the easy ways is to have a primary website, but you could also work off landing pages. I didn't put it in here, but you could work off an email campaign, a newsletter system. You can also work off of social. There are quite a few people who have businesses that never get off of social because they've got so many customers coming to them from that. And you can blog, which is not quite the same as a website, or you could create a microsite where you're targeting a very specific coaching need, a very clearly identified need that the people you love to work with have, where that's all you do. And that is a very tight focus, and it's a platform, but a small one and a very focused one. The next thing that you do is you want to let people know that you exist. Now, I know that we're all brought up that you don't brag and you don't go out and talk about yourself all the time, but when it comes to your business, that's really not the approach to take. And I'm sure that you've already had some material from Kathy on this one. And correct me if I'm wrong, Kathy, because I know that one of the toughest things for business owners is to talk about themselves, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's you start with your family, you start with your friends, and then you take that approach, and then you begin your more formalized approach by getting local listings and what are known as citations and directories. Now, these sound very complex, but they're really not. These are all free, almost all of them. Some of them do charge, Yahoo from the beginning and still does charge to get listed on their directory. But 90% of the listings that you can get that are top quality are available to you for free. They will let you put up logos. They'll let you put up images that reflect what you do. They will let you write, I think some of them will let you go up to like 3,000 words to describe what it is you do. Now, I'm not sure if people will read all of that, but you can be sure Google's reading that. You can be sure that Bing is reading that. And all of the listing engines that are accumulating keywords to associate with your name and your business, they're looking at that for sure. And since they're the ones who are putting this information in front of your prospective clientele, these are wonderful resources for you to get started marketing and really get the word out. Over 50% of mobile results come from directory listings alone. Now, I don't know about you, but that to me is a big number. So we definitely take advantage of that. And one of the things that I get from clients, I don't know if you've felt this yourself, but don't be afraid to think of yourself as a local business, even if you want clients all over the world. When people are searching for you, they live somewhere local. And when they're looking for your help, they are searching on their computer as if they're looking for a local service provider. So for you to list yourself locally is a great thing. It does not limit your market at all. Citations are listings that you will get from professional directories. Now, I listed some of these directories separately because you can actually get directory listings for certain professions. And if, as a coach, you're going to focus exclusively on medical professionals, or you're going to work with certain industries exclusively, then getting yourself listed on directories for these professions is going to really help. But there are more generalized citations that you can get, like Better Business Bureau, or getting your local Chamber of Commerce, your Kiwanis. There are lots of groups that will be happy to promote you as a consultant in the local area or as a professional in their industry if you simply request it. So these are all free for the taking. Now, once you've got your listings and you've created whatever type of home that you're going to create for yourself, the next step is to go out there on social and get active. Now, I know, Kathy, you had said that someone had asked about whether we actually have to go on to LinkedIn anymore.
Actually, several people, and I've heard that question too. They say, I don't want to do social media. Does it really matter?
Oh, gosh, it does. And I'm one of you. I really can't stand it, if you want to know the truth. I am so busy. I just don't have time for that. But truthfully, you need to make the time. And the reason for it is when we start talking about SEO, one of the big changes that's been happening, and it's actually been happening since like 2014, but we really saw an acceleration in 2015, is that the SEO quality of your content is going to be drawn more and more from social media. You're going to see more and more social listings in search results. And as that happens, the postings that you do there become more and more critical. So I really do wish I could tell you that you don't have to be on LinkedIn anymore. But I can tell you that contrary to what a lot of people think, you don't have to post every day. You don't even have to post every week. What you need to do is pick a schedule and stick to it. That way, the people who love you will know it's coming and they'll look for it. And when people access your data, that's what makes a lot of the listing engines happy. Google came out in a survey that was taken towards the end of 2015, where they actually admitted that more and more of their algorithm is based on how people are engaging with your content. How long do they stay on a web page? But as we're seeing more and more social results become part of the algorithm, it's going to also be important to see how long people stay engaged with your Facebook posts and with your LinkedIn posts. And for those of you who actually don't like to, write on a daily basis, have you considered trying to simply post to SlideShare? Is there anyone willing to raise their hand about some SlideShare slide decks they've posted? Whether you've had any results for that? Because there's a lot of people out there on SlideShare, millions and millions of people checking there every month to conduct searches. Is
And
there anyone?
so while you're inviting people, if you use SlideShare, please raise your hand. We want to invite you to come on live and share your experience. Kathy, in the meantime, a couple of questions have come in.
Yes.
So one person asked how often for updating a website, and then I'll give you the other question. So how often do they want to be updating their website?
Well, to give you an example of what updating your website can do for you, I had a client that I was working on this website on a regular basis over the course of December. And this person's rank in the U.S. went from over 1.4 million down to 199,000 page rank in Alexa. And that was because as I was changing the content, Alexa and Google were noticing it, and more people came onto the site. So the rank for the page went from 1.4 million down to under 200,000. And when you have a web page, when you have a website that's ranking under 70,000 in the US, you're getting some regular traffic. You may not have a crowd there yet, but you're getting in the game. So the regular posting, frankly, if I could talk anyone into it, I would say change your site every day. Tweak it, do something.
Yeah, and it can be as
Because
simple
that's,
as a tweak, right?
oh yeah, it doesn't have to be big. It really doesn't. The the key is that it needs to be relevant. Like anything that you're adding to your website needs to be relevant for the people who are searching for the page they land on. So if you're listing out, in social and you're posting a link, the link text doesn't matter so much anymore. But what does matter is where people come from and where they land, and once they land, how long they stay there. That is very important to Google, very
Awesome.
important to Bing. So when you're tweaking, you want to make sure that anything you tweak is using, keywords that are relevant for the people who are coming to your website, and that you're just constantly tweaking.
Nice. Another question for you is there a particular day of the week, or sorry, is a particular day of the week better than any other?
Well, I know for, when you're talking about email marketing, you want to stay away from Mondays and Fridays. For certain markets, depending on who you're appealing to, weekends are actually a good time of the week to be making changes to your site. You can also find that any day of the week can be important. The key is who's coming to your website. That's going to have the biggest impact on you know what's happening to your ranking. It's not, sure, you can stuff, make yourself rise up for a short period of time. It's like people becoming, number one author on Amazon for 10 minutes. Sure, okay, you can get there for 10 minutes, but what Google and what Alexa and the different ranking engines are looking at now is how consistent are you? So, are there certain days of the week? Well, yeah, there are certain times of the day. Professionals tend to check their mail, and go out online when they're, getting ready for work right before they start in work. So you're talking 7:30 to 9 o'clock, 9:30 is a real hot period. If you're talking about posting to social, again, that's really going to be a big part of where your followers are. It doesn't matter that 50 million people are on Pinterest at 8 p.m., which 8 p.m. on Pinterest is a great time to post, by the way. But if your crowd isn't there, then it doesn't really help you as much as it might if they are. Did that help or confuse the
Yeah,
answer?
well, and I think it's consistent with what I'm seeing. So depending on who you're targeting, different people use different social media at different times. So part of it is back to what you said earlier, know your ideal client. And then part of it is which social media are they talking about? And then picking the days and being consistent with that. I had someone else that shared they actually had a challenge, and from what I'm reading here, they tied the use of social media to their email being hacked, and creating a problem with that. What's your input there?
Well, yeah, you have to be really careful. There is so much more visible now in terms of, scraping data from, the sites that you go to. Frankly, I've been looking at VPN. I'm not sure if everyone who's online here is aware of VPN, but virtual private network, where you can actually, privatize anything you do anywhere so that people are not scraping data from wherever you go. It's not just on social. I mean, it's pretty much anywhere online now. If you're not on a secure location, you're in Starbucks, your home network is not protected. Certainly, like I said, because of social media, because of the way they can scrape some of the emails off of that, you are more exposed. But it's more your other end that's being careful. Um,
Yeah, the network
there's
where
so
you're
many
logging
factors
in.
involved in
Yeah.
that. Yeah, like a lot of people think that they're being hacked, their bank cards are being hacked when they're, accessing their bank, but actually it's when they're in Starbucks or Panera, or, they're using Wi-Fi and they're not on a protected network. that there are far more, it's because that's always out there. It's not like somebody's just hitting up on social media. They're online all the time, and they're just looking for opportunities.
Yeah.
But before we finish with social media, what I wanted to do is, I know everybody talks about Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google Plus, the ones that are listed on the first line. But looking at Medium, Clarity, Quora, um, making creative use of YouTube, SlideShare, getting on Blab, these are places where you can interact with people. There are fewer people on some of these so that you have a much greater ability to connect directly with someone who needs your services. I'd be really curious to know how many people are using Clarity or Quora to answer questions, or how many people are using Yahoo Answers. I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous, but
So
people ask questions.
show of hands, everybody. If you're using Clarity, Quora, or Yahoo Answers, raise your hand. Wow, Kathy, I think they're all in the same boat I am. That's the first time I even heard of them.
Well, did you know that on, Clarity, you can, you can be making like $300 an hour?
Wow.
Yes, you can list yourself as an expert. And when you download, when you create a master biography, which I kind of skimmed over that because it's a download and it's kind of self-explanatory. But when you're first doing your listings, that first step, you want to make sure that you're using the same information everywhere that you post yourself online as an expert. And when you go onto Clarity and Quora and you list yourself, you can actually make money. I mean, you can list your phone number, or you can list a virtual phone number if you don't want to give out your own, and you can actually get phone calls, of people who are willing to buy your time for 15 minutes, a half hour. Now, you may not be able to help change their life in that 15, 20 minutes, but you can certainly make a connection so that they can tell whether they'd like to work with you further.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah, and
Couple of
that's
people
free.
are saying thank you, so thank you for that.
Yes, it's free. This is free. Medium. You can create your own tribe on Medium. You can, be a key influencer. And it's all completely and totally free. And the only warning I would give you there is you can get lost there for hours. It's like Pinterest if you're like me. You could be there forever.
When you said a few minutes every day, that's more than your commitment. It's you've also got to manage yourself.
Yes, you do. You do. And this is why, personally, I would say pick a few channels that you really like and hand off the dirty work to someone else so that the things that need to get done, and then you go out there and you make friends, you make those connections, because it's the multiplication that's going to get you the reach. And that's why we're going to move on from here, because we could stay on social for an hour, 2 hours alone.
Yes.
Okay, when you're out there on social, what are you doing? You're sharing your own content, you're sharing someone else's. If you have no content of your own, it's perfectly okay and even welcomed to share somebody else's. Curate awesome content. Share it with your tribe, share it with people you don't know, promote it. Promote other people's information. If it's information that's relevant to your market, who cares if you wrote it or not? People are going to thank you. And I think we all see a lot of this on the Twitter lists, right? Intralist, I'm not sure that I actually put it on here, but Intralist is another thing a lot like Twitter, where you can create lists of things that people can, access. It's not even yours, but what you're doing is you're helping the people who need you. You've identified what they need, and you are sharing resources and content with them. So it doesn't need to be owned by you. It can be shared by someone else. But do be uh, charitable. Give credit whenever you use someone else's content. There's nothing that's going to get you a flame quicker than sharing content that's not your own, and not giving credit for it.
Awesome. And in keeping with what you just said, and something that came in on the question panel, you said, hey, this is a great topic. How do you use social media? For example, on Facebook, you go in and you follow pages of different organizations you like, and then you like and share posts that they have. And that way
Yes.
you're posting someone else's content, they get credit because it shows that it was from them originally, and you're
Yeah.
putting content up on your site. So that's one of the tips on how to use social media in a really easy way, and also adds to what you just gave. So thanks, Kathy.
Oh, you're welcome. And one of the things that's so wonderful about that, when you share a key influencer's content, they all have they all have alerts set up so that when you mention their name the first time, they'll probably not think twice. But you mention them 2, 3, 4, 5 times over the course of several weeks, and they see that you are regularly sharing their content with your tribe. Guess what? They're going to eventually share your content with their tribe. Guaranteed. I don't even have to think about that one. It happens too many times. So if you want to get the interest of someone who's got a huge following, be good to them. Help them out, because believe me, those key influencers have stress all of their own. They have a voracious appetite from their followers, and they need good content. And if they see someone being good to them, they're going to be good to you.
Nice.
Okay, moving on, the networking. You know, we've talked about all of the online stuff, but I got to tell you, I've got a lot of clients killing it offline. They're hooking into strategic partners in their local areas or in their professional organizations. Or Kathy, how about how you and I connected, right? You
Absolutely.
know, we can help each other. You know, that's a wonderful thing, and it gives you a reach into markets you would never have access to if you didn't become friends with people. So this is something that's free. It's something that's wonderful. It gives you a new point of view, and it gives you access to a whole new set of potential clients. Chambers, I know a lot of people think chambers are boring. It's kind of like LinkedIn, but truthfully, chambers can bring you a lot of business. You just need to be careful about how you go about presenting yourself to the local market. And this is where really focusing on your local listings can help you. Because when you meet someone in a chamber meetup, they're going to look at you online, and they're going to see how you describe yourself and your services. Okay. Relationship nurturing. This is another big one, email marketing. How many of us have started doing email marketing with our prospects and our customers?
Show of hands, everybody. How
Oh,
many of
sorry.
you are doing email marketing? I know I do, and I'm seeing a number of hands pop up.
Great, great. Congratulations. You know, that's a lot of hard work. You know, this is not, email marketing is not something that rewards you today. It rewards you tomorrow, maybe next month, maybe next year even. But it's something that if you keep at it, you will find that when you need those people to share back with you and respond, they'll be there because you've built that relationship with them. So that's great. New client, how many of the people who show of hands, how many people actually have a client welcome to help people know what services you offer?
Uh, what do you mean by client welcome?
Well, when somebody joins your email list, do you welcome them? Do you say, hey, thank you so much for giving me all that trust,
Ah,
giving me access into your private life, taking up time every day that I send you an email, that you're taking the time to read my newsletter. Thank you so much. And these are some of the things that I can help you with. Is there anything else you'd like to know? And if you want to see somebody who's doing it really well, if you're not already a MailChimp subscriber, you can subscribe to their email service for free and sign up when you do for their 6 um, email newsletters that tell you how to get started. And basically just copy like mad. Do everything they do. Just put it into your own context.
nice.
Yeah, no, it's a great way. You know, steal like crazy. As long as you give credit when you should, steal like crazy, and you're going to save yourself a ton of money and a ton of time. So you have your new client welcome, which is keying people into what you can do to help them. And it's not like asking them to buy. It's just sharing with them what you can do. Newsletters bring people up to date with the things that are going on, and you can keep them apprised of anything that matters. Sharing resources with them when you come across them. This is where curated content, you can mix in your social presence, and you can key in your email with your social. Because you don't want to keep ownership totally on the these social platforms. You want to start bringing your clients in to be part of your family. Targeted promotions. When it's appropriate, people never mind a promotion as long as it's not endless promotions on a daily basis. Print media. Business card is still relevant. I hope you have them, and I hope they're beautiful, and I hope they tell people exactly who you are and what you do. That was easy, right?
Yeah.
Marketing collateral is important, but actually what I'm finding more and more is people don't read it. What will really help you a lot is if you can create an infographic, create some small pieces of content that people can digest. Yes, all of the pros are saying that content online needs to be longer, 2,000 to 3,000 words, but what I've found in daily practice is that's not the case at all. Maybe the search engines love it, but the people that I watch and I track and the people I'm constantly interviewing, nobody reads any of that. Like, Kathy, do you read all of the emails you get?
There's no way.
Oh,
Sorry. And
do
I was just
you?
thinking that, yeah, if I go see an article and it's that long, I'm gone. I'll
Right.
I'll skim the first few paragraphs and then move on.
That's exactly it. You skim. So what you do is you mix it up. When you're posting on social, I would say do like 8 shared content of other people, make a lot of friends, and save yourself a lot of effort. Then of the 20% remaining, maybe like 80% of that is just helpful tips and information that people can digest really quickly. And then of the remaining like 10%, half of that should be some long content that's rich with keywords and full of helpful information. And then the last little piece is your promotions, trying to get people to buy something. And if you keep to that kind of tiered effort, you're going to get a lot of result for anything that you put out there. So
Awesome.
infographics are really popular. All you have to do is go on Pinterest.
So
Are-
somebody asked, what is an infographic? And I gave them a short
oh,
answer. Go ahead and give them a long answer.
it's a visual. It's something that you can look at and understand immediately. You don't even need to read it. You can look at it and say, oh, I get that. Yeah, that makes sense. Because people are skimmers now. We just don't have time to read much. So if you write something where the meaning is embedded in like 4 lines of text, chances are someone's not going to read it. It's sad but true. Now, of the people who do read, ebooks are huge, and books are still awesome. And I'm really impressed. Kathy was telling me earlier when we were talking about the different things we're doing that she publishes an annual coaching perspectives and it is in the 6th year. Like that's amazing, Kathy, that you've been doing that for that long.
Yeah, and it
Um,
absolutely is about all of our graduates having an opportunity to be a published author. So we're putting together our final list of authors for this year's book, and it gives people a chance to work in teams, uh, refining their own content, and then be published, have a book with their name on the cover, and then also they can take their own chapter and use it as that wonderful content because they can repurpose it.
yes, yes. And the wonderful thing about ebooks, and I don't, Kathy, do you put links in your ebooks going to other places?
So we publish a book, the hard copy, and
Oh,
each
okay,
author has a bio page with where they can put their website. When we
great.
do blogs and people guest blog or we do white
Yeah.
papers, then we have links in those.
Okay, great. Yeah, see, that's perfect. What you want to do is have all different variations of the same types of text that's associated with your name. So when you're only publishing content from your own blog, your own website, it doesn't have as much authority as when you're also in a collective work, when you're also online, when you're also on highly ranked social channels, and when your page has lots of likes there, and when Google and Bing and the other engines are looking at your name, your business name, and your keywords that are being used over and over again, and they're seeing that your presence is dispersed over all sorts of authoritative platforms. they are going to rank you higher because they're going to know that you're committed and you're professional. You're not here today, gone tomorrow. Because there's nothing more damaging to a search engine than to lead someone asking a question to a dead end, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's key. Now, moving on to gatekeepers, this is something where I don't know if you talk about this in the training, Kathy, but gatekeepers, this is my word for it, but these are strategic relationships, kind of like what we've already mentioned of networking with people in related fields. But gatekeepers are individuals who have access to um, large groups of individuals who could benefit from your talent and your services. So these can be peers. They could be shared markets, as in, related markets but not the same. They can also be affiliate networks. And I'm careful when I say affiliate networks because I know some some of those networks have negative connotations. But I'm talking about the good ones, the ones where when you join that network, everyone is ready to like you just because you've joined. And these are ways that you can leverage doing one thing and gaining access to many potential clients. And these are so important. But you won't do well with these strategic relationships until you've done the prior freebie, but definitely time-consuming tasks of listing, getting on social, making sure that all of your content is consistent and professional. Do you, Kathy, you offer postgraduate services along these lines, don't you? Don't you have resources?
Yeah, we have a couple of things we do. So, of course, the groups on the social media, then we have the online directory. You talked about that earlier. We
Yes.
also have a company where we submit proposals for coaching work and we put our graduates into those slots.
That's great. Yes, don't underestimate these boring little listings. And don't, not to, pound a dead horse, but don't give up on LinkedIn. They're really smart and they're doing a lot of
Oh
stuff.
my gosh, I've been
And
hired off of LinkedIn.
yes, there are some people who get 90% of their work from LinkedIn. And did you know that you can ask Pulse to post your content to their main feed, their key influencer feed. And if they look at your feed and see that you've got some good content there, they'll put you in with key influencers. So you're going to have access to millions of people eyeballing your content. And the only thing that's required for you to do that is, number one, put some good content out there on a regular basis so that when they take a peek at your profile, they see that you're a pro and you're committed. And number two, you have to ask. So,
Wow.
okay, next. Yeah, isn't that amazing? I mean, it's amazing. All the things that are available to you if you simply ask for it.
Yeah.
But you do need to, bolster your professionalism first. Because if, somebody goes to your website and they can see that you haven't changed anything in 4 years, or you have, and well, I don't want to mention any names, but it's a three-letter word website that was provided for free. You're not going to look as professional as someone who's taken the time to create some real quality content and do things step by step the right way. Better for you to go slowly and do it right than to rush around with that scattershot approach that I was mentioning at the beginning.
Okay, and Kathy, I'm not sure if you intended to go here. One of my things on professionalism is your email
Yes.
address. If your
Mm,
email address is Gmail, AOL,
mm.
Yahoo, Hotmail, any of those, that's not a professional email address. That means you've signed up for a free account somewhere. If you have a
Yeah,
website, you have an email associated with your website.
yeah. That brings up 3 points that I can mention very quickly here. Number one, if you want immediate love from Google and Bing and everybody else, number one, buy your domain name 5 years out. That tells them that you're serious
Mhm,
about your business and you're willing to pay for 5 years worth of domain.
mhm.
Number two, get a secure certificate for your website. And don't get the cheapy $70 one from GoDaddy or somewhere registrar. Get the expensive one that's like $100, $110, where you get the green light on your website. That'll immediately boost your SEO. Number three, what was it? Oh, if you like Gmail, no problem. That is great. Gmail, it does so many things that are wonderful for business. But what you can do is set up your Gmail account so it can, ghost as being from your own website. So what you would do is set up an email forward from your domain name and send it to Gmail, and then set up Gmail so that it sends out as if it's sending directly from your website. Was that too technical?
That was awesome. That was awesome.
These are integrations that when you integrate things from different platforms, you can use these free services to create amazing setups for yourself. If I mention the word Zapier, would that mean anything to anyone?
Not getting anything on that from anyone. I do
How
have
about,
somebody's hand raised for a question if you want me to unmute.
yes, I would be delighted. Sure.
Okay, so let's see. Providencia, you've got your hand up. I'm seeing you have a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, great. I can't believe it. I've never used this, my iPad to go, in other words, do a back and forth. So this is my first time. Yes, can you please go over the secure website? I didn't get to write it down as quickly, and you said don't go the cheapy one, go for the $110 one. I didn't get the full of that. I apologize.
Oh, no, that's
Yes.
awesome, Providencia. Thanks for that question. Kathy, go ahead, and then I have another hand up too.
Oh yes, it's amazing. Now, granted, it does cost you I think it's like $110 on GoDaddy. But there are two levels. One is like a lower level where your search bar doesn't turn green. Whenever you go onto a website that it has like this pale, like neon green, that means that all of your data is very hardcore encrypted, that people cannot scrape your data off of what you do on that website. Now, I don't know about you, but I've gone onto websites, and I don't want to mention any names and down anybody, but the minute I get off their website, I start getting these spoofing emails from different companies, and I know that my data was scraped off of the website. So Providencia, what it is it's a way of encrypting the fact that you're being there. And the other end of it, of something that you can do for yourself, for your own computer, is what's called a VPN, Virtual Private Network. We're not talking about big money here. We're talking $7 to $10 a month, or if you buy a year's worth of it, you can get it as low as $29 or $39. And Kathy, remind me after the end, and what I'll do is I can post this information to LinkedIn. Into the group there.
Awesome.
Where I can give you some links to these resources, and I'm more than happy to give you the specifics of what to ask for, because these secure certificates you really should have on your website, and especially so if you are selling digital products, which I hope you're all thinking about, even if you're not doing it yet.
Awesome. I think fabulous to have that posted in the group on LinkedIn. I know I'm happy to learn more because I have it on our payment page and want to know more about having it on all the pages. So thank you for that. Do you want to take one more live question?
Be happy to, sure.
Okay. Bonnie, you've got your hand up. Go ahead. Are you there, Bonnie? Okay, it may be she doesn't have a microphone that's working. So Bonnie, I'm going to invite you to go ahead and type it in the question panel. And in the meantime, Kathy,
Yes.
go ahead.
Yeah,
And
let's run
I'll
through
give you
this a
the
little
question
bit.
when it comes in.
Wonderful. Wonderful, Kathy. Thank you. Public relations, yeah, let's do it. Help a reporter out. Can we get a show of hands how many people have taken advantage of that? HARO, H-A-R-O. You can list yourself as an expert, or you can hire an expert. Those of you who can't write, you can hire somebody to write for you. And then you polish it up and you put out a publication there.
I am not seeing hands on that one. I know I teach it to people when we do our class for graduates on marketing. So great
Yes.
one.
And there are so many public relations websites. You want to poke around and make sure it's a good one, but basically just look at the top ones, look at their ranking, and you want to start with the free, learn what you're doing. Then when you know what you're doing, the paid access is worth it, because then you get sent out to thousands and thousands of radio, television, cable networks. You can become an expert. With determined effort, you could be a total expert in under 3 months if you do it right.
Wow.
Yeah, no, really, and I don't want to say fake it till you make it, because I don't like that approach that I see mentioned more and more online. But truthfully, when you have an expertise and you're willing to commit to this, you could definitely become, very well known in your niche, 3 to 6 months max, just by doing day-to-day things. So the last one that we have here is freemiums. Again, this is a young term, but I love this word. Do you use this at all, Kathy?
Actually, that's the first time I've seen it. I already know I love the word though, because I'm all
Yeah.
about taking advantage of that.
Yeah, it's freemium. It means it's free, but man, it's premium. I love it. And these are the resources that you are given. For instance, I'm going to give everybody one right now. If you need some photos and you need the kind of photos that are on this website, there's a website called unsplash.com. That's unsplash.com. The most amazing photography in the world, 10 new photos every week, totally free. You can do whatever you want. So you need some photos for your website? Well, check it out. They might have something there you can use. And we can put that link in there on LinkedIn as well, Kathy.
Awesome. And the other person typed in the question, they wanted to know the information on the secure certificate. So I shared you'd put that on LinkedIn later. So awesome.
Yes. And I'm so glad to hear people doing that. And buying your domain name 5 years out. You don't need to buy your hosting 5 years out. The hosting people love you to do that. No need for that. Because actually, you should plan that you're going to get so big that you don't want to buy your hosting that far out, because you want to upgrade from your starter hosting packages and get into the virtual server, and then get into your dedicated server, because you've got millions of people coming to you.
Exactly.
So, yes. Okay. So, and what are free resources? Well, just like what I did with Unsplash, share a free resource with your your market, your tribe, or create one yourself. And if you like, Kathy, I would be happy to provide some links to some really high quality infographics as well. We could create like a nice little war chest for everyone of free items that they can use for reference and use to perhaps even send out.
Nice. Awesome.
Okay, so I think we're getting close. Let me see what more. Okay, and then these last few slides are pretty evident. And yet, we do it over and over again, which is track your performance, see what works, see what doesn't. Don't let anybody tell you that they're an expert and, they can tell it's working when you can't. No. If something, especially if you're hiring someone to do it for you, if it's not bringing results, stop doing it and put your money somewhere else. Now, I don't mean, give, 1 week to your marketing plan and then give it up. But if you put, a good faith effort into something that doesn't show results, talk to your clients, talk to your prospects, and get some feedback from them.
And actually, that brings up a couple of questions. So one
Yes.
question was, okay, if you are going to choose an SEO company, how do you do it? And then a
Okay.
related question is, how do you get clients without a huge budget?
Great. Everything that we've talked about so far, almost all of it is free. I geared pretty much everything to something that is affordable. And I'm even willing to talk in the end question, because actually we're getting close now. But I would even be able to be willing to talk about, how to get graphic design that's really inexpensive, because I know getting your logo and that kind of thing. But everything we've talked about there is free or very inexpensive. And then for the SEO, to pick a good company, honest, I'm not a big believer in SEO for small business because the number one thing that will produce results for small business is getting content online. It's not SEO at all. And SEO now is shifting its focus from the general marketplace into social. So this is where the social posting is so key. But if you're determined that you do want to give someone some money for this rather than do it yourself, then I would recommend that you listen to what their tiered approach is as far as how they're going to perform for you. How are they going to demonstrate that what they're doing is working? Because effective SEO is going to show results. The first SEO is just doing listings, which, as I said, you can do this for free yourself. It takes you about 3 to 5 hours. So, Kathy, I guess holding them accountable, asking them how they account to you before you demand it of them. Like, what is their checks and balances? How do they report into you as far as what their effectiveness is? How do you know? Like, for instance, Alexa is a free listing service where you can check your domain name and it will tell you how quickly your page loads and it will tell you what your page rank is. Now that's a great thing, right? Because if your SEO is working and you're getting more traffic, you're going to see your Alexa rank improve and you can go there all on your own free of charge.
Yeah. Nice.
Did that help?
Yeah, hopefully there's a hand up for a follow-up question on that, and then I have basically the same question pertinent to a website. How do you make sure they're giving you what they want? I've got a couple of people asking because there's so many different places you can go on websites. So let's go to the question first on where you're at, choosing an SEO company, and then go to the website one. So let me give you the, it's Providencia again, actually. So Providencia, go ahead and ask your question on the SEO.
Okay, well, it's not only on the SEO, I think it's just about all of the information. This is a lot. There's a lot to absorb in a short amount of time, and it's a lot to go through all of these steps. I mean, this can be daunting and overwhelming.
Yes.
You know, so how do you take all of this so that you know, like myself, I'm a new business owner, how do I make sure that I'm doing step by step by step and not get overwhelmed with all this information?
Oh, I love that question, Providencia. Oh, go ahead, Kathy.
Well, the checklist that I have, I included, it just lists each item that I have on the slides so that you can start. But if I were to recommend that you do one thing, it's do your local listings. Get on every one of them you can. And I can give you some links, and I want to warn everyone that once you start doing local listings yourself, you're going to get every phone call, you know, every telemarketer in North America. You're going to get emails every day. You have to be really diligent about not signing up for anything because once they know you're interested, you're going to get every barracuda out there after you. However, if you take the time to do it, it will take you about 5 hours to do them all. If you're quick and you do a master biography, and that's the other download I had for you, if you fill that out, you submit the same information to each of the top listings, which I can give you, you will start showing up in search engines almost immediately. Okay, so there's your start.
So let me clarify, everybody. In your control panel, you have access to 2 handouts. One is called the checklist, the other is called the master bio. So definitely recommend that you open up that section on handouts, click on those 2 documents, it'll open them up for you so that you have what Kathy's talking about and can save it. And then Kathy, knowing we're short on time, this question, a couple of people asking on websites, so there's so many different places you can use for putting your website up. How do you decide?
Well, one of the things that I really decide is, you know, when I look because I deal with a lot of businesses online. I am a very active, I actually even, look at Google Ads. I'm very atypical. So when I'm looking at the professionalism of a company, I look to see the quality of the work they're doing. I call them up and I talk to them. If I can't talk to them in person, I don't even want to do business with them, because if they're not willing to talk to you at the front end, what's going to happen when you need a fix on your website? So that does me out of a lot of these, cheapy. Now, granted, a low price isn't a good thing, but as my dad says, getting a sale on dog food when you don't own a dog doesn't do you any good. So there's a low price that you want to go down to, spend the least amount you can, still want to get quality. So that's number one. You don't want to look like everyone else. Number two, you want a website that you can manage yourself. Doesn't mean you will, but you want to know, like for instance, Squarespace is wonderful. I love them. They're gorgeous. They're beautiful. But you can't take your Squarespace website anywhere else if you decide you don't like them anymore. You're stuck. And this is one of the reasons why I love WordPress so much, because once you're on WordPress, you can take your website anywhere. So I don't like these proprietary networks like Wix and some of the others where they lock you in and keep you there out of fear. So you want something professional, you want something simple, and you want something that has the basics, which is a blog, a way to contact you, and a very professional homepage. And frankly, I think you could do a one-page website and just have that, and you would be fine. Do all of your posting to your social accounts, at least to start, until you have a bigger budget.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. And don't forget to look at all the top people in your niche. Not only as coaching, but look at beautiful websites. This is where Pinterest is wonderful. Go on to Pinterest and do website design and just look at things that look beautiful so that you can give your web designer something that you like.
Awesome. 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 And Kathy, I have a couple of people that are saying thank you, terrific, really great information. Somebody said, love this session. So lots of great input. I do realize we've used your time. I think you had just a couple of last minute things for everybody who does want to hang around. And for those that do have to go, we will, of course, have the recording on YouTube. So thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you so much, Kathy, for inviting me on, and thank you, everyone, for taking time out of your Friday. I know what that's like, and I very much appreciate it. I hope it was helpful.
Awesome, awesome. And here is Kathy's email address and her telephone number so that if you do want to reach out to her, you can. And I think from the questions that I've seen that were submitted ahead of time and in the question panel, I think we've covered everything. So if you have additional questions, do feel free to let us know. Get them into that question panel. And Kathy, lots of great feedback. People are appreciating it, and it's fun because we're getting those comments. Predominantly United States based. We do have people all over the world. So we've got multiple continents going on here. Very fun.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful to hear. And thank you so much. It's been great. Do get in touch. And Kathy, you had mentioned that we can maybe have some discussion in your LinkedIn group.
Absolutely. So for those of you that are already part of the LinkedIn group, watch there for more input from Kathy and a place to ask additional questions. Those of you that aren't, come join us, Center for Coaching Certification Group on LinkedIn. So thank you, everyone. And Kathy, thank you. Awesome job.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you, Kathy.